to another one. The sun came out finally. So I've abandoned the camera corner in my bedroom and I've come outside to do this video. And I want to talk about the Olympus 40-150. Now, not the Pro version, not the f2.8. This is the variable aperture from, I think it's f3.5 or maybe f4 to 5.6. But it's actually really good. It's very sharp, surprisingly so. And I made a video recently, oh, not actually that recently, it was last year, about this lens and how I think things like this should be your second lens as opposed to the, the Fast 50. So yeah, if you want to see that, the video's up there somewhere. I've already been into the city this morning to get some photographs. Wasn't a lot going on. It's a work day. It's Monday today, so yeah, there's people kind of just milling about doing the thing, and it wasn't terribly interesting. The light is very good though, so I'll come out into the wild and hopefully I can get something here as well. There are some shots from earlier on, but yeah. So this is the lens in question. The 40-150 f4 to f5.6, REDMSC, all kinds of letters. Now forgive my squinty, scrunched up face looking worse than usual. The sun's right there, and I wanted the sun in my face rather than into the camera because the wind's also blowing from that direction, and I'm using a shotgun mic, so sorry. Now, as I mentioned in the other video regarding this lens, this is all plastic. It is it kind of feels like a toy, surprisingly. It weighs practically nothing, even the mount is plastic. But don't let that fool you. Optically, this is actually really good. So my plan is, you've already seen some of the pictures from town this morning. My plan is to have a wander around this very boggy woodland area and see if I can pick out anything with this. And that 40-150 range is actually really useful, and it fits perfectly with the type of street photography and general photography that I like to do. I like to isolate a subject and create that compression in the background, and this lens allows you to do that even with that relatively slow aperture. The great thing about these lenses is that they're available for pretty much every system. This is a 40-150, which gives you a full frame equivalent of about 80-300. Now, on your full frame systems, you get 70-300s, your native ones, but then you can also get options from third parties like Tamron and Sigma. On your APS-C cameras, you're looking at about 55-200, but again, it gives you that same range, which is very versatile and allows you to kind of dip your toe into, wildlife, sports, that kind of thing. Now, of course, being a variable aperture, you're going to need either good lighting conditions when you use a lens like this, or you're going to need a camera that performs well at higher ISOs. But yeah, the difference in price though, it's really something to think about. This brand new is about £150. The f2.8 Pro version is about £1,000. And that is a massive difference. And if you're not going to get the value out of that better quality lens, this is the way to go. Now, another thing to consider with lenses like this is the size and weight. This version, the cheap version, is very light, it's very small, and it's something that you don't really have to even consider whether you're going to sling it in the bag because it is so light. It doesn't take up any space. You could comfortably walk around with this in your jacket pocket and forget it was there. Now, that's not necessarily the case with the full frame versions or even the APS-C versions based on the ones that I've used. Even the variable aperture ones are quite big and quite chunky, but again, it's to cover that bigger sensor. So yeah, this is kind of what Micro Four Thirds is all about. I just got some B-roll of a hawk. I don't know birds. It was kind of just hovering around and stuff. With that lens, at 150mm f6.3. So, good or bad, I'm going to show you it, and you can get an idea of what you can do with this thing in terms of video. All of the B-roll you've seen so far in this video has been shot with that lens, every single bit. So, yeah. Here's that. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that B-roll. I hope it came out. I'm not a bird guy, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but yeah, trying to track that thing, that was a good time. Now, in terms of build quality, I think you're getting exactly what you pay for with this lens. It's very, very plasticky, but optically, it's very sharp. It definitely punches above its weight. Based on images I've seen from previous shoots and what I'm seeing on the back of the camera today, this thing is well worth the money. Now, when you compare this at £150-ish new to the Pro version at £1,000 new, I would never buy the Pro version. This is me personally. I'm not a sports or wildlife shooter, so I don't need that quality lens, and I don't feel the need to spend 6 times more for 2 stops of extra light at the long end. It just doesn't make sense for me. So yeah, I would highly recommend this lens. I mean, it's got no frills. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a cheap lens. I mean, it doubles in size when you zoom. It's got no weather seal or any of that, so don't expect it's not even got any switches or anything for autofocus, manual focus. It's very basic, but it certainly does the job optically. So if you want a lightweight, simple, cheap option, I think that's it. Alright, so I'm going to stick this back on the camera and go for a wander for another hour. We've still got some hour for a decent light. It's in and out a little bit, but we've got about an hour until sunset, so I'm going to make the most of it. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.